YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. So Rat Race ended. If you're not subscribed to the channel, which nobody is right now, we're still building up the channel. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll be talking about a lot of strategies, a lot of investing moves that I'm going to be making on the channel. But here on the channel, you'll also get to see lifestyle of um, myself and my wife. We're getting ready to embark on our first Royal Caribbean experience. We'll be there in a few days. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can see some of those adventures that we're going to go through. But anyway, I digress. Um, this is my strategy, and this is the strategy that I'm currently using for yieldmax funds. These are the yieldmax funds right now that are predominantly that I have the majority of in my portfolio. And this is what the portfolio looks like. We're going to go through just some of my holdings. I also added QDTE. I have 100 shares of QDTE now. I still have about 50 shares of FEPI. And here are my yieldmax funds. Right now, I have 200 shares of MSFO. I have 200 shares of FBY, which is Phoebe. So Phoebe, so Facebook and Microsoft are two of my holdings from the Yomax family. I also have 200 shares of Tesla in the portfolio as we speak. I have 50 shares of MSTY, and my biggest holding right now is NVDY. So just to recap, I have NVIDIA, I have Phoebe, I have MSFO, I have Tesla, and I have some Misty. And I recently added about 100 shares of QDT. What I plan on doing personally is I plan on reinvesting about half of the funds from the Yomax fund back into the Yomax funds. And then I'm going to take the rest of the funds and put them in DGRO, which is a it's an ETF by iShares. It's the core dividend ETF. Currently, that ETF is up 11.53%, and it pays a 30-cent dividend itself. So I plan on growing both the YieldMax funds and I plan on growing DGRO. I had it set up where I was growing SCHG and VOO, but one thing I don't want to do, and I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, I could be doing it wrong, but what I don't want to do is get to the point where I want to, because eventually I want to live on my dividends, but I wanted to have something that was growing so that I can do that. I didn't want to just have everything be capital flat or sideways to down. That's the reason why I was investing in SCHG because it was up 16% this year. But eventually I'm gonna have to sell that shit. And when you sell it, you're going to incur taxes. So I'm looking at it from a perspective of if I have a fund like a DGRO, like an SCHG that I'm growing for the long term that has some capital appreciation and some growth as well as a dividend, I won't have to sell it or at least not sell it all because it's paying me a dividend to go along with everything that goes on in my portfolio. Whereas SCHG and VOO pay such a small dividend that it won't really matter. It'll give me the big growth that I want, but it's not going to give me the dividend I want. And eventually I'll have to sell it and take the taxes. So that's just that's the way I'm doing it with YieldMax. Having a little, half some of it, it'll be a portion of the portfolio, but not the entire portfolio as I invest into more sure um, assets like DGRO. I also have some energy. I diversified into some energy. That's USAI, which is doing quite well this year as well. Year to date, it's up 15.95%. Last year, it was up 20%. So two banger ETFs inside the portfolio. Right now, USAI makes up about 17% of the portfolio, and DGRO makes up another 17% of the portfolio. So almost 40% of the portfolio is in those two. Only single stocks I have is Meta Nvidia and Amazon. So I have a little bit of each one of those, and I'm dollar cost averaging into each one of those as well. So let me know what your strategy is. I'm interested to know what your strategy is for these yieldmax funds. Are you going to invest just in those guys, or are you going to diversify to give yourself a little bit of diversification? I also want to get me some of the inverse um, yieldmax funds, but I'm gonna wait for those funds to run. I feel like Nvidia is going to take off around the end of the month when its earnings comes out. So I'll be looking at it when the earnings come out, to see if I can get. I think it's called dips. I want dips when Nvidia is just rocketing ship off. I want dips down maybe at the $12 to $10 mark. And then I'll go in and I'll get some dips to have some downside protection when NVIDIA eventually, crashes a bit. That way I'll have dips and NVIDIA so I can play both sides. I have 75-25, something like that. But anyway, man, let me know what your strategy is. I'm out of here. Peace.